In this topic, we're going to prepare your PC to continue running this course by installing LabVIEW. So let's head over to the NI website at ni.com. I'm on the NI website now, and to find the download link for LabVIEW, I'm going to go over to Products, and then under Software, click LabVIEW. Then on this page, you'll find lots of information about what LabVIEW is, and there's a couple of videos here that you can look through. But we're going to click on Start Free Trial. And this is the LabVIEW download page. So, under Supported OS, choose your operating system. I'm using Windows. If you have an active service plan with NI, you'll be able to choose which version of LabVIEW you want to download. However, for this course, I'm going to be using the latest version of LabVIEW at time of recording, which is LabVIEW 2020 SP1. Regarding the included editions of LabVIEW Base, Full, Professional, or Community or Runtime, if you're already working as a LabVIEW developer at a company or at a research institution, you should already have a Professional, Full, or Base license of LabVIEW. However, if you're a hobbyist or you're a student just learning about LabVIEW but aren't doing academic research, then you may choose the Community Edition. And I'll go into more details about the differences between a commercial license of Base, Full and Professional and the Community license in a later slide. Because I work as a LabVIEW professional, I'm going to download the commercial license. All of my examples are going to be using 32-bit LabVIEW in English, and I'm going to include driver software because later on in this course we're going to be connecting to different types of hardware. Then once that's all done, you can click download. At this point, you'll need to log into your NI user account. If you don't already have a user account, it's very straightforward to create one. Now that I've entered my password, the installer has just downloaded. If I click and run the installer, I'll need to run it as an admin, and then it will prepare the install using the NI Package Manager. If this is your first time installing a piece of NI software, it might take a little while, but hopefully it won't take too long. Regarding the LabVIEW packages that you must install, you have to have LabVIEW, but you can deselect the JKI VI Package Manager, and then we will scroll down, and you can deselect the Vision Development module, but we're going to keep NI DACMX. So the two things that you have to have selected are LabVIEW and NI DACMX. If you already have items installed on your PC, they will appear greyed out like these ones. And then we'll click Next. LabVIEW may prompt you to say that you may wish to install additional items. Now this can be very helpful if you're developing lots of LabVIEW applications, but for this training course, we only need the core LabVIEW install. So you can deselect all and click Next. You'll have to agree to the terms and conditions by selecting I accept the above license agreement, then click Next. And then the installer will let you know which products you're about to install. I'm just going to install NI DACMX here because I already have LabVIEW installed, but you should see NI LabVIEW and NI DACMX. You can click Next, and then Next again. And now the installer is running, so go get yourself a coffee, have a bit of a break, and then hopefully the NI installer will be ready in no time. While LabVIEW is installing, let's have a quick chat about the different license types. So I mentioned earlier that the Base, Full and Professional license are commercial licenses, and so they would be used by companies and universities. So if you're doing any industrial work or if you're doing any academic research, you should be using either a Base, Full or Professional license. Now, if you're working for a company that's only just started to use LabVIEW, that's absolutely fine. You can use a Professional license under a free trial, which you can extend to last about 1 month. If, on the other hand, you're learning LabVIEW to use as a hobbyist or for non-academic use, you can use the Community Edition, and the Community Edition is free. So if you're just learning LabVIEW as a student or you're a hobbyist, you should use the LabVIEW Community Edition. On the LabVIEW download page, you may have also seen the option to select a runtime license. We're going to be talking more about runtime licenses in the final module of this course. However, a runtime license is required for running LabVIEW built executables. The LabVIEW runtime license is free. However, we're not going to be using that until right at the end of this course. I mentioned earlier that the LabVIEW Community Edition is free for non-commercial and non-academic work. However, to give you an idea of how expensive the LabVIEW commercial licenses are, so the LabVIEW Base, LabVIEW Full and LabVIEW Professional licenses are, I've put a screenshot up on the screen.